Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Thursday, July 7th, and we have our fourth eviction of the season about to happen this evening. And we know who it's going to be most likely. Let's cut to the chase. I've got a few things to talk about, but I'm going to try to keep this clear and concise, as I actually kind of took some quick notes before I started recording this today. So, actually, to cover a couple of things from yesterday one that I did not cover and one that I need to amend. It looks like Rachel is the one who got gooed. Those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, on the Friday Big Brother Unlocked that happens twice a week, the second episode of that will be this coming Friday, tomorrow. 2 weeks ago, they announced this goo thing, which is just, we're gonna, what's the Nickelodeon, whatchamacallit, where they dump stuff on somebody, right? They were going to goo one of the house guests, and they put a vote online to decide who would get that goo. And apparently Rachel won the vote. Now, we're not sure how they told the house guests this worked, because it sounded like the house guests got like shirts to wear or something, and there was some kind of decision made that that's how it was decided who got it. But we know that it was a vote, and so the public voted for Rachel to get it. But I'm not sure that Rachel knows that the public voted for her to get it. They seem to be under the impression that it was decided in a different way, which maybe that is to protect Rachel or whomever had got it from the rest of the house realizing that if they've been seen as a negative thing, right? Like, when you vote for America's favorite player, you're voting for the one you like the most, right? Well, if they voted for someone who'd get a bad thing, then the rest of the house might see Rachel getting it as, America doesn't like Rachel. I don't know. We'll see on Friday's show, I guess, how it maybe was explained to them. But so that happened. When did that happen? Tuesday? No, yesterday was Tuesday. No, yeah, Tuesday. I think it happened on Tuesday afternoon. The feeds were down for like an hour and a half or something, and that's what happened. When they came back, we found out that had happened. So that happened. I also said yesterday that I had heard there was going to be an endurance competition tonight, and I'm wrong. And credit to Dingo, whose sources told her that it's going to be a, quote, knockout competition tonight, and that the wall competition will be next week. So I have always said, my sources are not necessarily always right, and I'm careful, and I admit it when they're not, and they were not right in this point. And they said it might be an endurance competition this week, and I kind of ran with it, but obviously it's not. So knockout competition, as a reminder, is kind of one where the house can, if someone doesn't go on a winning streak, they can kind of decide who wins. In that two people go up against each other, and one of them wins whatever it is, and then they get to decide the next pairs. So they can put allies against each other to eliminate the number of people that they're going against. It doesn't guarantee who wins at a household, but it can eliminate some big characters, or potentially, if they don't do well in this. So you have to win. A lot of times it's a buzz-in thing, and the person who wins is the one who doesn't buzz in because the other person gets the answer wrong. So there's that too. That's all we know. And it may be a put a ball in a hoop thing. It may not be a quiz thing. We're not sure, and that could come into play if it's a physical competition, right? So I talked yesterday, and I made a point of blasting it online about, well, should we go right to that? Sure, let's talk about last night's episode, and then we'll circle around. I've got my list, so I won't forget what I want to talk about. But last night's episode seemed to lean into giving Riley a pretty good edit, and not one that's going to upset the casual TV only viewers are not going to understand why the online community is not a big fan of Riley based on last night's edit per se, because they had him crying and apologizing to Mickey after kind of yelling and getting in an argument. So he got a very nice edit, which is whatever, it's fine. But I had talked about Riley in that he's just not, he's good at physical competitions, but he hasn't proven that he's great at like mental competitions or memory or those kind of things. And so I think that's why he's going to make it to jury. I think people like him. They think he's funny. They think, I don't think they're going like, I don't want to. Sometimes, some seasons you hear, I can't live with this person in jury. I don't want them to get to jury because I don't want to have to spend another several weeks with him if I'm stuck in jury. No one's saying that about Riley yet. And so that and a couple other things, make you wonder. So what else? On the show, I got really annoyed with the editing in the diary room. The way they edited I was not watching, so I was out late yesterday. I was out all afternoon. I was out at the Indiana State Fair watching one of my grandnieces show animals. And so we got home late, and so I was kind of only checking in on my phone on what was going on in the feeds. But I finally turned on the show, and I kind of watched / listened to the last night's episode on my phone while I was doing some errands and stuff. And what I noticed was, and it was particularly, I think it was Mickey in the diary room, and I could just hear the edits, the audio edits of her talk while she's saying, well, I could put up this person, or I could do this. And that's not how she said that sentence. They clip together 3 or 4 words, and sometimes they will show a house guest talking in the diary room and then cut away to a picture of somebody or an action or something. And while their picture is not on their face, they'll splice together 3 or 4 different words to make a sentence go a certain, I don't know. It annoyed me. I'm like, that's not what she said. Like, I'm considering so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. And it was like, that's not how she said it in the diary room. You can tell she said a different sentence, and they edited it together. And that, I would say, is no bueno. Don't do that stuff. Don't, they've done it with video where they've put it, and we know they've done it with audio where they've altered words, because that was the very first episode where who was it? They made Ashley say, I have to win this, and then I don't want to win this, but it was the same diary room session, it was the same session. They just edited the sentence. I'm not sure, but it's very annoying. So, saw some of that last night, and that kind of just, ticked me off. But anyways, last night's episode, whatever. The TV viewers get what they get. We know that it's not super accurate sometimes. The blow up that, the fight between Ava and can't think of his name right now, Keanu. The blow up between, Keanu had won the competition, and apparently Ava wasn't saying, congratulations, Keanu, you're the POV winner, quick enough for Keanu. And so he said, I think you've got a line to say or something. And that really annoyed her, that he was telling her how to do her role. And so, as the host of the POV. And so she kind of snapped at him. So that was the argument when the feeds came back, that we heard that Keanu had kind of gotten on Ava. It was like, it wasn't that big of a thing. It really wasn't. But they made it a kind of a thing on the show, too. I don't know. It is what it is. Keanu kind of stuck his foot in his mouth, I suppose, but we don't know what was going on. We didn't see the whole thing. We only saw an edited version, so we can only go with what the TV show gives us. All right. Other bullet points to touch on as far as things that happened since yesterday. We've got last night, Ashley, Will, and Mickey had a very long conversation up in the Head of Household room, kind of aligning themselves, and to one point where I posted this clip of Will saying, so are we an alliance or what? Because Ashley would be talking around, well, I had this conversation with someone about something, and you could tell Will was like, if we're not going to tell each other what we're doing, then are we really an alliance? And it's like, oh no, we're an alliance. And it's like, okay. I don't think Ashley still spilled all of her information, but that conversation happened, and then I guess after I stopped watching, they pulled Ava into the group. So you've got this alliance between Ashley, Mickey, and Will, and then they added Ava, and they came up with a name. But basically, so that's an additional, that's an add-on to their 3-person alliance, right? So just keep that one in mind. Let's see, Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy's still likely to go. He didn't seem to. There's nobody rallying around him, and so if Jimmy is on the block at the end of the battle blockbuster, God, that name is just horrible. The Big Brother blockbuster. If Jimmy doesn't win it, then he's going to get voted out tonight. If Kelly doesn't win it, she's only going to go. If Jimmy wins it, then Kelly will probably go. That's it. Riley still seems to be safe. So you got that. Riley's still safe, again, in part because he's not viewed as a huge threat to anybody. It'll happen sooner or later. Sooner or later, somebody's going to say, okay, now it's time for Riley to go. I have a feeling that will come up once jury starts. But people don't want him. Online fans do not want him around. And I'm telling you, man, he's not going anywhere unless he does something. And now, this is the only thing. Last night, or early this morning, and I've only seen one video clip, and I want to go find the feed and see what was on the other camera. But I suspect there wasn't anything on the other camera, because if it was, somebody probably would have got it and shown it. But the feed shows what the feed shows is the living room, and the camera's panning, and you hear Riley and Catherine talking. They were up late together, snuggling in the bathroom, and suddenly you hear some sloppy, kissy noises. And the question is, was Riley kind of just kissing on Catherine's, like, someone thinks maybe he was kissing her neck, or kind of snuggling, kind of hugging, kissing? Or were they actually on this lip-to-lip contact? It would be a completely different situation. If Riley is kind of just like, I want to kiss you, and I'm going to lean in and kiss your neck and see if I can work my way towards your mouth, that's one thing. If they did lip-to-lip, that's another thing. And by the time the camera awkwardly panned around and found them, they were separating. So we don't know what happened. I'm sure it's on camera. I'm sure CBS got it on one of their cameras. Maybe on a camera that's on all the time, but they'll have to go back and pull that room. But there's a chance that it was also captured by a different camera, the one that wasn't being shown, because the clip I saw from Big Brother T was one of what you would expect to be 2 cameras. You expect a wider shot that may have captured them. So I'm going to go look at some point today to see if I can find it. And if I do, I will share it and, of course, tell you guys. Of course, some people are like, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I've heard about it. But it will be the talk of, and it probably already is, the talk of the online socials for at least a bit this morning. We'll see what happens. That's the news I got. Expecting Jimmy to walk out, like I said. Kind of disappointed if he does. I'd rather see Kelly go, because I don't think Kelly's going to provide any more. I mean, she provides the drama. She provides the ability to, she's going to win comps, but I've seen enough of it. I am ready for Kelly to be gone, because game-wise, nobody's willing to play with her. And so all she is a potential person to spoil somebody else's plans. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but that's my hope. My hope is that Jimmy wins the Battle of Block, because I like to see him stay, and it'll mess people's plans and stir the pot, right? All right, that's what I got. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to everyone else, too. We'll talk to you guys. Unless something major happens, we'll talk to you on Friday morning. All right? Be well. See you later. Bye-bye.